Been good. It's been fun. Obviously, we got a good group and uh, challenging at times, but it's getting to be worth it. Getting them where we need them to be, and just looking for consistency and tightening up down this for the last 22 games down the stretch. So everything expected, some ups and downs, but getting there.
What would you say has been the biggest catalyst in turning the season around?
Health and time. Just the time it takes for a new staff, a new group to kind of hammer some things out. And then health was hindering us early in the year, so getting back there, having our full group for some consistent amount of time has turned things around.
How different are you expecting this next team to be than the one you faced right before the break? You have added Drummond and stuff.
Yeah, they got some bodies back. They're kind of decimated at that time, although they have some new players. LaMarcus Aldridge back as well. Nick Claxton back as well. Obviously Drummond, so they have more big bodies tonight, and then Curry, capable scorer. So there'll be a focus. Him and Patty Mills, really. So it'll be a different team. Obviously, more firepower, more veteran experience and size out there, and so it's a new game, new challenge, and can't just carry over from what we did last game. Have to go out there and make it happen.
The Bucks went and got Javon Carter, the next line driver. When you guys need to go out there and get, are you trying to get like a pursuit of those veterans? Is that help you drop them, bring a guy in who can maybe help you right?
I wouldn't say it's a must, but we're always monitoring what's becoming available possibly. Talked about this the other day where there are some names floating around, and we'll see what happens as far as that. But we answered a lot of the questions during the trade deadline, bringing in Derek White, bringing in Tice for veteran experience and, some savvy there. And so we've checked a lot of boxes with what they bring to the group, but we'll always monitor and see what happens with before March 1st.
What would you say is the biggest adjustment from the ball from assistant to
Day-to-day overall responsibility? The basketball is basketball, but it's a lot more than just X's and O's and worrying about a scout or whatever. So it's just you have your hands on the imprint of everything organizationally, and so a lot more media, a lot more talking to people. But the basketball is basketball, and the relationships is the most important part with the players. But staff stuff, media obligations, and other things is of that nature.
You guys just talking about how the defense has been so good with Rob kind of zoning off as the low man, and how he wants to try to force Rob to make lots of quick reads and try to get him more actions that he can zone out and load up. What have you done, or what has he done to try to simplify things, to be able to handle that as he's trying to figure out how to counter that adjustment?
Rob has been great at it, and that's why we've benefited so well, is that whether he's on, off ball, we have some schemes and counters to what teams are going to try to do. The thing I mentioned earlier today was if teams try to go away from who they are to pick on Rob, that's the guy that most teams want to stay away from in general. But if you are going that route, you're probably going away from some of your strengths, trying to adjust and go to one of your non-scores most of the time. And so we're preparing for that team to start to do that. And obviously Rob is a high-level defender that can guard pretty much every position. So we don't feel like it's a disadvantage for us if people try to put him in more actions. But he's been great, whether he's helping on or off ball, being a weak side defender, as well as guarding the actual action.
Teams are slowing their offense down, and they're really trying to target him and pull him out an island. Is that like a good thing for you guys, because you're kind of taking the offense out before that?
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, they're trying to do something that's not to their advantage, or something they don't really go too much. Playing against Boston last year when I was here in the playoffs, Rob was a guy we try to stay away from, and most teams do. So if you want to actually bring him into action, it's obviously one of our best defenders. So we feel confident with that. He was ready to go right out of college. Obviously played 4 years in college at a lower level and then transferred to Colorado, but a mature player coming out ready to play, and obviously being thrown in with that group. He had some young guys, him, DeJounte as well, and he kind of fit right in and was ready to roll. So the part that I feel benefits us is he's tailor-made for what we do, but also very ready to go, and terminology wise and some of the things we're doing. Obviously our relationship plays into it, but he's a guy I really don't have to worry about. He's accustomed to being coached hard, and he's receptive to it, and he's ready to roll. So that's him and Tice coming back was probably easier than a player who hasn't been here before. And so had no let up with him coming in.
Development wise, it's kind of right around where you expected him to be for the few years of his career.
Yeah, and like I said, he was a cerebral player coming in, well-rounded, did a lot of things well, and so just kind of picked up on that. They had the two-headed monster over there, so he learned to play on and off the ball. Two-headed point guard with him and DeJounte Murray, so they both, kind of manned it at times, and I think that's benefited him to play in different roles.
When you look at this next team and they're potentially fully healthy and you add Ben Simmons into that, what kind of impact do you think you can have on this roster, how they play?
It's going to be huge. I coached him obviously 2 years ago, and so know him well. He complements what they have and don't have. A guy that is, a one-man fast break, and then you add the scorers and shooters all around him. Obviously, that's going to be formidable, but another guy that can switch and do what they want to do defensively. Obviously, one of the elite defenders as well. So, huge compliment to that group. When they're healthy, regardless of Ben or not, you got a few of the best players in the world off top, so they're going to be formidable. But adding him to the mix is going to be a good thing. It's just you'll see if they have the time to get it to gel more so than anything.
I wanted to ask a similar question to that. Obviously, we all wonder what's the better fit in that trade. You were with both organizations, seeing the personnel much closer than obviously we do. Do you have a sense of where Ben could plug more holes, or whether James was the guy that needed to fully maximize what they have here?
Yeah, I mean, we were a rolled ankle or a toe on the line away from a championship, in our opinion, here last year. So it wasn't far off. Obviously we know what James brings to the table. Ben, and not just Ben and what he does all around, it's the addition of Curry, the addition of Drummond, some of those guys, it's multiple pieces. So they've checked a lot of boxes with as far as backups and depth. And obviously, besides Ben adding to the mix. And so, like I said, it's all about timing and if they'll have the time to make it gel. But as far as him as a player, he fits right in because of what he brings that the others don't. So can't say who won the trade, but they tightened up a lot of areas that they needed to here.
Steve Nash called you guys far and away the best defensive team in 2022. I mean, you saw that in this group coming in, but you take any pride in that?
Yeah, I mean, it took some time, but like I said, I've always said our what we saw early, has come to fruition with health and availability. And so you look at our personnel and it fits into what we envision as a coaching staff. And now with the consistency in lineups and our versatility, size, and all those things, it bodes well for us and what we want to do defensively. So it's good to see that it's coming around. And like I said, the guys are kind of buying into that mantra and that identity. And we're looking to build over the last 22 games on what we did over the last 20, or even when the first 40, we were still top 4, but over the last 20, we've been number 1. And so we want to continue that.
Thank you.